Humanitarian organization, the Africa Muslims Agency, has sent a delegation to Kabul, Afghanistan. This visit forms part of the operation's More Than a Meal campaign, which is raising awareness around the social impact of hunger. The campaign also aims to provide food, dignity and hope to people in 14 countries around the globe. Sumaya Omar, a volunteer from the Africa Muslims Agency, joins me now from Kabul in Afghanistan. Sumaya, thank you very much for your time. I know you've only been in Kabul for 2 days, but what have you experienced so far?
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your platform today. I just want to say on behalf of the Women's Delegation in Afghanistan, we are so privileged to be in Kabul at the moment and experience what we are experiencing currently. It was a big decision to send a woman, it was actually a very big decision for the organization, Africa Muslim Agency, to send a woman's only delegation, and this is the first in Kabul. And we've been on the ground. This is actually our third day, of which we have been experiencing different things. I must say the emotions are mixed. And we've come to Afghanistan, in particular Kabul, to share a story, to share a narrative that has not been shared before. The story of Afghanistan has only been told in one aspect, and we are here on a human issue. We are here to give the voice of the voiceless a platform so that everybody in the world understands what they are going through, understands the plight, understands that there is a responsibility for the world to do something about the issues that they are experiencing. The thing is that Afghanistan has been in a war for the last 4 decades. It's over 40 years of war. There's only destruction in Afghanistan. And when I talk about Afghanistan, I mean Kabul, because we're only in Kabul. But if you look at it, this is a city, this is the capital, and yet this place is shrouded by war. There is nothing here. Majority of the population, over 54% of the population of Afghanistan is living in extreme poverty, of which 2.5 million children of this population are orphans. Another shocking fact about this is that of the 2.5, it's only 13,000 children who have the opportunity, actually the privilege, to live in orphanages. So, you know, there's some shocking facts and shocking realities in Afghanistan. Another thing that we witnessed over the last 3 days is the fact that women and children are the clear victims of this war and oppression. Most of the homes that we have visited in Kabul, whether it was in the urban areas or the outskirts or even in the mountains, and I must tell you, it was quite a thing for us, because the first 2 days we had to climb severe, you know, I cannot even explain how hectic those mountains are, to reach some of the families, to understand their narrative and to listen to their stories. And in most of these homes, what we have found is that women and children are the victims of oppression.
Sumaya, sorry, I'm going to jump in there. It's so interesting and relevant that this is an all-woman delegation, because, you know, usually when companies or organizations send aid, they send possibly men because they're worried about their security. But it's very important for women in Afghanistan to be able to speak to a fellow woman, to share their experiences. But I want to find out from you whether you're not worried about your own security.
I would just like to say, on behalf of the African Muslim Agency, both in South Africa and in Afghanistan, from the time we have left South Africa to the time we have arrived in Kabul, we are completely safe and sound. Our security detail and everything on the ground has been up to perfect security measures. And in fact, as the first only women's delegation, we're actually motivated and we actually look forward to going out on the streets, on the ground of Kabul, to find out what is going on. This is a situation that has not been told, and I think this is a perfect opportunity for us to use this platform to speak about what it is. And let me remind you, this is a human issue. We are not here for any other thing, but as a responsibility for us humans to protect the people of Afghanistan and to ensure that they are provided with relief, with aid, with security, so that their story is being told, as well as dignity and hope. There are other issues, you know, also traveling in the last 3 days, we realized, as I mentioned, women and children are victims of oppression. There's a clear need for water. 74% of the population lack access to clean water. Now, this is a great problem. Everywhere you go in Afghanistan, I mean everywhere, there is serious problems of sewage, there is heavy pollution, and there is no clean water anywhere. What happens is we are finding that there is a large spread of diseases, a large spread of basic living, sorry, give me a moment there. What we have found is that due to lack of access to water, we have found that, the basic dignities of the Afghan people are being denied. They have to drink water. If they drink water, they have to drink water that is mixed with sewage, or they actually don't have any access to water. Those families that are actually living on the top of the mountains, they have no access to water whatsoever. They have to climb down a mountain every day to get 1 drum of water, which has to suffice for a few days. So, I just want to bring it back to the thing is that this is a humanitarian mission. And as a women's delegation, we are so privileged to come from South Africa to Kabul as a responsibility for us to protect the people of Afghanistan, a responsibility for us to share the narrative of what is really going on. And the more important thing is to raise awareness for the campaigns that we are driving here on the ground. And this is what we're really trying to push forward. And as you mentioned, our main campaign, and because Ramadan is coming up for most of our, as the people of Afghanistan are mostly Muslim, majority of the population, and Ramadan is coming up, we are working effortlessly and really working on the ground from morning to evening, pushing the campaigns to ensure that meals are provided in each home. Earlier
Sumaya,
today,
thank you so much for the work that you're doing. I do apologize for interrupting you. We have run out of time, but thank you again for the amazing work. And this initiative, I'm sure, will make a very big difference in the lives of the Afghan people that you are looking to provide with various forms of aid. That was Sumaya Omar, a volunteer from the African Muslims Agency, live to us from Kabul in Afghanistan.